Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Broads. We are broadcasting live from the Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. I can't believe we are at week 4 of the football season. I can't believe that my Eagles are 0-2-1 and I need to sit through disgraceful football games every single week. But there's something that makes it better. Placing bets on all of the action, and Betql has all the information that you need, whether it's the trends, the public bets, the data, the sharp money, where all the professional bettors are headed. It's a no-brainer to utilize everything that Betql has to offer. If you want to make educated bets, it's no longer about, oh, I like this team, oh, I think this team can win. No, you don't even need to go down that road. If you go to BetQL.com or download the BetQL mobile app, all the information that you need is right in front of you. And I'm not going to lie. I've been cashing out left and right. My wallet is fat as hell because of the data and the analytics that I'm just grabbing right off the BetQL app. And you can use promo code BROADS20. BROADS20 is the promo code for 20% off of your first payment. You got to check it out. We're also implementing an NFL weekly pick'em pool presented by BetQL. We are giving away weekly prizes. On top of that, a grand prize courtesy of Rosnov Jewelers. All of the information to sign up is down below. It's a must. Not only it's a must to sign up for the weekly pick'em pool, it's a must to sign up on BetQL.com. Comprehend this. Close your eyes and comprehend this. Making so much damn money. Okay? Just picture yourself making so much money based off of all the information you're just sucking in from BetQL. All right, let's look at some of the action this week. The Saints-Lions. The Lions are at home favored by... favored. The Lions favored. No. The Lions are underdogs at home by 3.5 points. Public bets. 52% of the public is betting New Orleans. Now, Drew Brees has not looked good at all. The line opened up at 4, so it has moved a tiny bit. You're now seeing, so the Lions were underdogs +4 at home, starting to see +3.5, +3 in some places. So the line barely moved on this one. Sean Payton is 17-3 against the teams who commit 1 or less turnovers per game on the season while coaching in New Orleans. It's going to be hard to take the Lions. It's going to be hard to think that the New Orleans Saints are going to lose a football game once again, but the Detroit Lions are getting 64% of sharp money. Drew Brees has not looked good at all. You can get the Lions with some points. They're coming off of a great game against the Arizona Cardinals, a team that people were falling in love with, a team that people looked at Kyler Murray and said, wow, this guy can win the MVP. He had some turnovers, threw some bad interceptions. The Detroit Lions made the most of it. And Drew Brees has been playing poor without Michael Thomas. You can see the difference in the offense. I just look at the way he's throwing the football, though. Drew Brees, something seems off, no? I don't know if it's the range of motion on the shoulder, but it looks a little funky. 64% of sharp money like the Lions with the points. Now, if we go to the money line, the New Orleans Saints are -180 on the money line. Sean Payton is 56-21 versus good passing teams, averaging 235 or more passing yards per game while coaching in New Orleans. And while looking at this money line, heavy sharp money coming in on the Lions. The next game we are going to look at is the Rams and Giants, and the line has moved insanely. the money keeps coming in on the Rams. And this Giants team, they are a dumpster fire without Saquon Barkley. They obviously are not good even with Saquon Barkley, but that just adds another gut punch, if you will, to not have someone that could take a lot of stress off of Daniel Jones and the new head coach as well as a whole. The line opened up at +9. +9, the Giants, underdogs on the road in LA. It has now moved to 13.5. So the money is pumping in on the Rams over and over and over again. I can't wait to look at exactly what is going on with the numbers. New York Giants are 8-0 versus poor defensive teams, allowing 5.65 yards per play while on the road over the last 3 years. 84% of all the sharp money is on LA. This is not going to be breaking news. And when you look at the money line, 87% of the same sharp money is on LA. Sean McVay is 21-7 after scoring 30 points or more last game. So, look, it seems to be that the New York Giants don't have a damn chance. The way that Sean McVay has that offense rolling, Jared Goff coming out of the pocket, doing a bootleg, throwing on the run, getting guys wide open. How about Sean McVay actually committing to the run? It's insane. Now, did they get hosed last week against the Buffalo Bills? Yeah, but I guess you can argue because it was that terrible pass interference call that blew the game late. But there was that wonky interception where both teams went up for it and they both had possession and they gave it to the Rams, which allowed them to come on that epic comeback that they had. And then at the end, the refs kind of put one in the favor of the Bills, and we know the rest of the story. Josh Allen and the Bills found a way to come back. But this Rams team is legit, and this Giants team, they just have no identity right now. Losing Barkley was so crushing. You could feel and see the difference with that team when they lost him, when they saw him go down and they realized it was that significant. You just saw a team deflate, lose all of the air. And it's unfortunate because you never want to see anything like that. The moral of the story, though, is it looks like the Rams are your play. 13.5, though, that's when it starts to get a little dicey. Like when it opened up to 9, it opened up at 9, right? Giants +9, Rams -9. A lot of the sharp money pushed it, and public bet pushed it to 13.5. Now you got to question, though, at 13.5, is it worth it? Because it moved so much. 9, okay, no brainer. 10, okay. 13.5, that's when maybe you can start questioning how high it gets before you start going for the other team to cover. It's just hard to think I got to put my money in the Giants to not lose by a certain amount, especially a team that doesn't have their true identity in their run game of Saquon Barkley. But just keep that in the back of your mind because it starts going one way so heavily, at some point it's an untouchable number, even though a lot of the sharp money and a lot of the professional money is headed in that direction. It moved so heavily because they did that. So something to keep an eye on. Vikings, Texans. The spread right now, Texans are at home, favored by 3.5 points. 96% of the public like the Texans. That is very, very high. That is obnoxiously large amount of public bets on the Texans. Now let's look at where it opened up at. It originally opened up at 3.5, so it has pretty much stayed the same. So what does that tell you? Well, let's use our brains a little bit. 87% of sharp money on the money line is headed in the Vikings direction. Now, I said let's use our brains a little bit. Why does that make sense? Well, if the public is betting so heavy on Houston, and when you look at where the line opened and where it's currently at, well, if one side is so heavy on a specific team, the number would move. But because it stayed the same, that told me somewhere there was going to be a lot of money being pushed on Minnesota to even it out. So when you look at the money line, 87% of the sharp cash is on Minnesota. Bill O'Brien is 24-9 versus bad defensive teams who give up 24 or more points per game. So 13% of sharp money, loving that other side of it. The spread, though, the spread is interesting. So those 3.5 points obviously come into play. Closer in splits when it comes to the sharp. 58% of sharp money on Houston. So the money line seems to be more, hey, there's value there. Let's dive into the value on Minnesota. A winless Minnesota team to this point. A squad who can't stop another team from scoring on them. Heading into the season, people looked at this squad as a potential team to win the NFC North. I actually had them as one of the teams out, but the only reason why I did that was because every year there's a team you think that's going to be good and they're going to stink. And for some reason, my gut feeling said that was going to be Minnesota. Now, I didn't expect it to be this degree by any means. I thought that they would still be in the mix. They would win some football games. They look horrendous. The defense can't stop anything. What in what world? Minnesota's defense can't stop anything? At least the game last week was more competitive than any of the original ones, right? The blowout when they played Green Bay early on, first week. It's been a mess for Kirk Cousins and that team. But Bill O'Brien, you can look on the other side. It's not like the Houston Texans are just playing fantastic football right now. Bill O'Brien moving on from DeAndre Hopkins, not realizing how much that was a difference maker for his quarterback in Deshaun Watson. Come on. I mean, do you not have any brain cells? It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Next game on the schedule, Bills Raiders. Raiders at home are underdogs by 3 points. 56% of public like the Raiders with the points. This game opened up at 2.5 and it has moved to 3.5, 3. So you are seeing tiny line movement in the action. Let's dive into the analysis, shall we? All right, 66% of sharp money like the Bills on the road as the 3-point favorite. This Bills team looks good. There's no doubt. Josh Allen, Diggs. Was Diggs not a big improvement? It absolutely was. This guy can fly. He can make plays. It's electric. They're a fun team. I love what Sean McDermott has done with this squad. When the Eagles were looking for a new head coach before Doug Peterson was hired, Sean McDermott was somebody that I was interested in bringing in to have some sort of interview to maybe look at him to take on that role in head coach. I love his philosophy, and I love what he brings to the table. And you're seeing him build an awesome culture in Buffalo. But these are one of the games, like these are the type of games where you see it on the schedule. All right, the Raiders, they have some impressive wins so far this season. They're 2-1, and the Bills, they're 3-0. Like, there's a lot of Bills love right now. But could you see a scenario where this Raiders team, who is at home, may I add, even though crowd is not a factor these days, some places they are, some places they're not, they're at home, and they're the dogs. It's so hard to pass that up. When you see it, you almost raise an eyebrow. Like, hold on a second. You're telling me you can get the home team as a dog? And it's not like it's a crap home team. This squad in Derek Carr, Gruden, Waller, they've been putting together solid drives. Josh Jacobs, although, he's being banged up, running to the sidelines, banged up, running to the sidelines, banged up, taking on a hefty role. But this Raiders team, they're a good team. They have a good philosophy. This is going to be close. But 66% of sharp money like Buffalo -3. But when it comes to the money line, it is going heavy on Vegas. 87% to be exact. Sean McDermott is 16-4 as the favorite, though, while coaching in Buffalo. Let's take a look at the over-under in this game because I think that is super interesting. The over-under is set at 52.5. The under, this is close. The under, 61% when it comes to pro money. So 61-39, 61 like the under. You can look at this team and, yeah, they got some playmakers on defense, both sides. But, this is the thing. You watch that Jets What was that dumpster fire Thursday night game? It was Jets, Denver. And you just think, how are these teams going to score? It's not like they have good talent on either sides of the football, right? And Von Miller going down for the Broncos, it crushed them. You just are like, how are they going to score? Yeah, there's so many plays happening, picks all over the place due to poor quarterback play. I understand that, but just like you think about these teams, like who's going to really go make a play out there? Yet there's points being scored all over the place. It's just so hard to really look at the over-under for me, and that's why I utilize something like BetQL. It's so hard for me to look at the number myself and be like, yes, because this team is good at defense, this is going to happen. It necessarily doesn't work out that way sometimes. So that's why I love diving into the analysis each week and like, okay, where's the sharp money headed? Because, they have a better clue than I do on it. Bang, I do what they say, and I'm walking out on Sunday night after the games, and I'm going to Wawa to get myself a coffee because I made like $500 to $800, and that coffee's $2, and I could have paid for that anyway. All right. 49ers, Eagles. No, are we going to do this? Are we going to do this? Are we really going to do this? Are we going to do this? We're going to do this. The line opened up originally at 49ers at home as a 3-point favorite. It has moved to a touchdown favorite. The 49ers, do they have anybody left when it comes to cornerback? They're on their backup quarterback. So corners, second, third team guys. Quarterback, second team guy. They're getting Kittle back. That's huge. And this Eagles team stinks. Carson Wentz is playing horrendous. Oh, I don't want to think about it. Let's dive into this. 53% of public bets, though, like the Eagles to cover. How about that? It's funny. We actually had Sal Paolantonio on the Sports Bash on 97.3 ESPN this week, Friday. We always have him on. And, we were talking to him like, how do you feel about the game? And he goes, I think they'll cover. And then afterwards, I looked at Gil, and I'm like, did he just say trying to kind of give a good vibe to the Eagles faithful? They'll cover. He said it in like a positive way, as if that would satisfy this fan base, right? Like, oh yeah, hey, at least they covered. That makes me feel great on Monday morning when I wake up. They covered. Sal Powell's phenomenal, though. Love when he joins the show. Diving into the analysis, 83% of sharp cash coming in on the 49ers with the spread. Once again, I told you how much the line moved. So it was 3. When they come in hard, that pushes the line. Is there a point now where you look at the Eagles and you go, hold on. If it was San Fran -4, -5, different conversation, -7, do you start to lean more Eagles? I will say, and this could just be me being optimistic about the Eagles and being a Birds fan, they do seem to pull it off when you don't expect it. When you count them out and go, this team is toast. There's no way this team wins. They're just not going to. They're not good enough. They can't compete. They find a way to win that specific game that week when everybody is down and out on the Eagles. They win those type of games to suck you back in. Now, this year does feel different. This year does not feel the same as others. For example, that Miami Dolphins loss last season, everyone thought, oh man, that was brutal. This team's not great. Yet they went on that run and made the playoffs. But even that felt different than this feeling now because, the quarterback is just not playing good enough whatsoever. And it's hard to justify Carson Wentz right now. He's not playing good, and you can't win football games when Carson Wentz isn't playing well. Nick Mullins is going to outplay Carson Wentz, but that goes on Kyle Shanahan, who's going to out-scheme the hell out of Jim Schwartz, and he's going to look at Kittle versus Nate Gary matchup. He's going to look at what Sean McVay did to the Eagles because they have a very confusing offense when it comes to misdirections and all sorts of plays like that, jet sweeps. It's going to confuse everybody on that defense. So that's why Nick Mullins is probably going to have a better day than Carson as well, because the coach is going to scheme these players open. While the Eagles have no wide receivers. You're back to all of these guys off the practice squad. It's an embarrassment. Kyle Shanahan is 12-4 after outgaining oppositions by 100 or more total yards in their previous game. Now, the Eagles on the money line is actually getting 66% of sharp money. So you can take that for what it is. I told you I have this gut feeling. I feel information probably a little bit better than gut feel on the Eagles, considering, this team is just a mess, just an absolute mess. Falcons, Packers. Packers at home favored by 5 points. And it has moved to 7 and 7.5 in some places. This Falcons team, it's just mind-blowing. Now, the Packers are playing phenomenal football, and they look legit. Last year, they looked okay. They didn't look legit, even though their record was so fantastic. This year, you're watching Aaron Rodgers pissed off, and you're watching him make electric plays, and you're seeing the Aaron Rodgers that we have been accustomed to seeing in his prime. Phenomenal watch. But this Falcons team, how many times are they going to find a way to lose in historic ways? Over and over and over again. This coach needs to go. This coach needs to be fired. This is a nightmare scenario for this organization to constantly lose these big leads late in the games. You thought Brett Brown was bad. No. Here comes Quinn to show you how it's done. He goes, hold my beer. You want to go hold my beer? That's Quinn to Brett Brown when it comes to blowing these leads. Atlanta Falcons actually have 74% of sharp money, though, when it comes to this spread. You're talking about a team who, look, they are in position to win games. And if you look at it with that mindset, this team is in a spot to win games. They're up late. They're up double digits. So it's not like they're just getting blown out. They're not in the mix. They can't hang. Matt Ryan can hang. They have playmakers on the outside. They have people who can play the sport of football at a high level, and they can take advantage of that, and they do. They do. That's the thing. They are involved. They are in a spot to win the games, and then they just blow up. But if you look at it and go, okay, there's going to be a time where they do not fall flat on their face. There's no possible way that this team, I know this might sound crazy, but there's no possible way in hell that this team will constantly continue to fall like that every single week. So with that mindset, if you get the Falcons with 7 points, 7.5 points, I know they're going to Green Bay, though. That is a little concerning, but you just have to think that this team will eventually snap out of this craziness that they're in. Moneyline, Dan Quinn is 3-9 against teams who force one or less turnovers per game on the season. The Green Bay Packers, that were getting 57% of that sharp money. So the Falcons are getting play. On the money line, you're getting 43% of sharp cash. And then when it comes to the spread, you got a hot amount flying in on Atlanta. So they are getting some love. And I think it's because of what I just laid out to you. It's not as if this team is losing 50-0, 50-7, and they can't move the ball. They can. They absolutely can. It's about holding the lead more so than anything. The over-under is set at 56.5. 60% of the professional money coming in on the over. On the over. And like I said, the Falcons can put up some points. Green Bay can put up some points. So I kind of like that play. Jags, Bengals. 95% of public bets. Wow. 95. Let me repeat that one more time. 95% of the public bets, like the Jags, who are on the road going to Cincinnati as underdogs. On the road, the Jags going to Cincinnati are the dogs. Let's see where this opened up. Cincinnati opened up as a 3-point favorite, and it's pretty much at 2.5 around all the sports books. So not too much movement there. 53, this is super close, 53-47 in favor of the sharp money headed in Jacksonville's way with the points. And when you look at the money line side of things, 93% of sharp money is dialing in on Jacksonville. Gardner Minshew versus Joe Burrow, the mustache. Now, Joe Burrow has been looking very solid, right? I mean, it's not like he doesn't look overwhelmed. They have lack of weapons. They have a lack of a squad, of a roster, so that hurts you as a quarterback. But you can see that, he definitely has it. He has some great tendencies. He can move his feet. He can throw the football without a doubt. Like, I am very intrigued with Joe Burrow, but when you look at the overall team, that's where the concern is. They got close to their first win last week, but they went to overtime with the Eagles, and it ended up being a tie because Doug Peterson wanted to punt for a tie. Please don't get me started on that whole conversation once again. This Jacksonville team, though, it's surprising people. It really is. They're involved. They're battling. They're giving everything they got. Now, they're 1-2 on the season, but you look at them heading into the season as the 0-16 type Cleveland Browns. Oh, they're giving up. Oh, their front office is a mess. Oh, what is even happening with Doug Maroon? What's going on there? What is their identity? They traded Nick Foles after signing the big contract. Oh, here's Gardner Minshew. Okay, that was a fun story last year. Oh, what's that? He's continuing to do it? It's just crazy. But if you're telling me Jacksonville gets points going into Cincinnati, isn't that crazy, though? Like, both teams, in reality, they stink. But it's just wild that Jacksonville has been playing decent enough football to catch your attention and go, hold on a second. You're getting the Jags as dogs? And we're taking that as like a positive? I just would have never imagined in a million years, but that's the beauty of football. That is what is so fun about this league. Over under 49. The over at 82% is what is getting crushed and abused as we speak. I love looking through these lines. I really do. Like, I'm so intrigued by the movement, what's happening, where the public is going compared to where the sharp money is headed, how much of the public loves specific teams. I'm literally obsessed with it. Colts, Bears, Nicky Foles going up against Frank Reich. The Bears are underdogs at home by 2.5 points. 54% of the public is going on Chicago. Let's see where the line opened up at. The Chicago Bears, it was a pick'em. It was a pick'em. And then people going on the Colts kind of moved that line in their favor. See, this Bears team, they're undefeated, yet nobody seems to really believe in them. They're undefeated, yet people are like, but Mitch Trubisky, yeah. But then what happened? The Chicago Bears put Nick Foles in, and he goes on this crazy ride where he's throwing touchdowns at will and coming back on the Falcons. So this team, this Bears team isn't the same Bears team from the last couple of weeks because you enter a Super Bowl MVP in the mix. This is going to be such an awesome battle based off of just what Nick Foles, if you didn't hear, was praising Frank Reich for what he did in Philadelphia during that Super Bowl run, and he was saying this was the guy who kind of figured me out as a player. This is close when it comes to the spread. 52-48 in favor, though, of Cincinnati. And on the money line, 59-41 in favor of Chicago. Now, Matt Nagy is 1-5 in October. If you want to utilize that trend, doesn't seem to be a good October coach. Like, we look at Doug Peterson as December Doug. Matt Nagy, not October Nagy. Once again, though, you add Nick Foles, and it's just a different element. Now, all these teams, when you think about it, like I'm going in my head, all right, who's banged up here, who's banged up there? There's so many damn injuries around the entire league. Is there any team that's not suffering through injuries right now? All these teams have problems somewhere along the lines of their squad when it comes to these injuries. So at this point, like, yes, I know it adds a value in terms of, placing your bets, but all these teams, right, like, they're just getting waxed from the injury bug. You got the the San Francisco 49ers blaming MetLife Stadium because of the turf being in play, and they had to play there twice because they played the Giants and then they played the Jets, and these injuries continue to happen. Now you got players super pissed off about certain turfs and all of that. I'm sure the NFL will be looking at that because, we talk about why are these injuries happening so much? Well, is it because they're not getting hit in practice? Are they not preparing properly? Or is it because of maybe what's going on with where they're actually running? On top of that, I mentioned this before. I don't know if it was on this specific podcast where I break down the lines, but Dr. Kevin McHale was on our show on the Sports Bash, and he's saying these guys are just so athletic and so gifted that they're essentially ripping their own body parts apart just because of how much training has intensified. And I thought that was just insane to think about. The total is set at 43. Once again, super close. Over, under, 53-47 in favor of the under when it comes to sharp money. So this is pretty damn close all around. Money line, it seems to have more value on the Chicago Bears. But this is going to be a really good game. That's like a super fun, intriguing game. Oh, I went back too many times. Let me pull up the page again. What is this Bears team? That's what I'm looking at here. Like, who are they? Because they have wins under their belt, but nobody seems to know who they truly are as an actual team. Are they really good? Are they actually good? Can they compete with the Green Bay Packers for the NFC North? When I look at this Packers team, it's a totally different squad. They're not even on the same level, right? But record-wise, they would beg to differ. All right, the next game we have is the Dallas Cowboys at home, favored by 4.5 points against the Cleveland Browns. It opened up at 4. It moved a half a point, so it's not like it was insane movement on this one. Dallas has a great offense. There's no denying that. They have an offense. They have players who can do damage without it out. Their defense, though, it's Swiss cheese. Teams can move on them all they want. And I think about what Cleveland has. Well, they also have weapons. Now, it's not like they're a roster that has put it all together yet to this point, because it's obvious that we look at their roster on paper and go, holy hell, they have playmakers, but they're never actually able to put it together as one and consistently win football games. But I think, okay, look at Dallas's defense. Is it possible for some of those lethal weapons and that run game and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to be able to actually get some sort of flow? It might not even need to take flow. It could be one damn play, two damn plays, because you can break open this Dallas defense with ease. But as we dive into the sharp cash, 71% like the Dallas Cowboys with the 4.5 point spread. And on the money line, which is 225, Dallas Cowboys minus 225, 80% come in hard on Dallas. Mike McCarthy is 29-4 as a home favorite of minus 160 to 280 over his career. So they like the Dallas Cowboys. This Dallas Cowboys team, it's interesting because when you look at the NFC East, it's a trash division, without a doubt. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's a trash, garbage division. Yet they're not killing it right now. They're 1-2, and realistically, other than a collapse by Atlanta where they don't realize there's a fumble that they should jump on, not a fumble, a onside kick that they should jump on, they should be 0-3. And while they have holes on defense, they still look way better than any other team in the division, and that's saying not a lot, but that's just showing you how bad, I guess, the NFC East really is, that a 1-2 team that should be 0-3 looks like they're the best in the division by far. My gut tells me Cleveland. I'm just saying. My gut tells me Cleveland. And I'll take the points with the Cleveland. This is one of those times. I've been telling you. I've been going with what the sharp money says so much. And I've been making so much money. But just for the hell of it, I'm going to go against it this time and see where that lands me. Let's just see what happens. I feel Cleveland, and maybe that's me because I don't like the Cowboys. But when I bet, I don't look at that. I don't look at what team it is to make my judgment. Because I don't give a damn if I like the team or I don't like the team. It's about making the money. I just look at this game and my gut feeling screams Cleveland Whether they win or they cover, my gut screams Cleveland. I'm going to go with Cleveland. I'm going against what they tell me, and we'll reassess this. We will reassess this, and then you can go, Broads, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You did exactly what you told us not to do. You tell us all the time, follow where the pros go, and you're right. And I do, and I've been making so much. Yet here I am, feeling like a complete idiot, and I'm going to do it just to see, though. It's an experiment. That's all. I'm willing to go down the road of, hey, let's have an experiment as a podcast. Over-under is set at 56. 66% of the pros like the under. Chiefs on the road. Underdogs by a touchdown. The Chiefs, a touchdown favorite against this squad. Look, it's not the Patriots with Tom Brady. We know that. This is a different Patriots team, but it's still a good Patriots team. This line opened at 8. Chiefs favored by 8. Patriots on the road, underdogs by 8. It has moved down to 7. In some places, actually 6.5. Alrighty, let's dive into it. Bill Belichick is 41-16 versus excellent passing teams averaging 260 or more passing yards per game. On the money line, though, you are getting 73% of the smart cash dialing up Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. 73% is a pretty damn decent amount. Now, going over to the money line, 86% of smart cash on Pat Mahomes. Wow, I'm a little shocked. Andy Reid is 24-7 in the first month of the season when coaching in Kansas City. 24-7. I'm a little blown away because it's hard for me to bet against Bill Belichick. Now, I can see how much of a juggernaut this Kansas City this Chiefs team, how they look. I can see it. Dynamite. Going to Baltimore, no questions asked, easy W, throwing bombs, Pat Mahomes on the run, chucking bombs, right? Like, I see it. But there's something about Bill Belichick, and it's a touchdown spread. But look, I went for the experiment on the last one because I'm taking Cleveland. Am I going to do 2 experiments in a row? I don't think I can do that, right? Unless we make this an experimental week. But every time I do that, doesn't work out in my favor, and that's the beauty of Betql. I'm gonna stick with Kansas City. Although the 7 points, it opened at 8 though. So if anything, it's headed in the other direction. It's different. The over/under 52.5. The under is in favor, 61-39. So under 52. You could still get each team scoring in the 20s. Man, could you argue that you don't score that many points on Bill Belichick's defense, though? I'm thinking, could Andy Reid and this Chiefs team score 30-plus on their own? And you would think, no, not against Bill Belichick, but then you think, wait, maybe, because this is special. This is something we haven't seen before. So there's a couple games still left on the schedule. What I would advise for you to do is go to BetQL.com or download the mobile app. Use promo code BROADS20 for 20% off of your first payment, and then you will have all the data that you need. You can look into what analysis you want to look at. You can dive into the games. There's plenty of other sports in action, not just the NFL, college football, baseball, playoffs, the NBA finals, although it looks like LeBron's going to take it home once again. There's so much information on this website that you can take in when it comes to making educated sports bets, and I think it's so important. We're going to do this one bet to go against the sharp cash to see where we land, just because I feel Cleveland over Dallas. But I've been on this crazy stretch of I'm going to see the data, I'm going to take the data, and I'm going to utilize the data, and I'm going to see what happens. That's the experiment that I've been working with on the other side. And guess what? It's been working out more times than not. I am bringing in a lot of money right now. So I advise for you to go check it out. It's a no-brainer. Promo code BROADS20, 20% off your first payment. And just think of it this way. Okay, you're paying for the service, yet the amount of money that you're going to make the return in investment, it's not even close. It is a no-brainer. So thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.